That's right, I'm back with another trophy hunting video, and I know for some of you guys you might be a little confused. If you're new here, just ignore the next 20 seconds. But as you can probably tell, for the first time in over a month, I'm doing a video on a game that's not related to Dead Rising. And what you can also probably notice is that I'm now monetized. Now that's all thanks to you guys subscribing. Now I don't want to ever tell you guys to subscribe. The only reason why I'm even bringing this up is so you can appreciate the fact that my videos dedicated to killing zombies and gore are somehow not demonetized. I just thought that was funny. I don't know, if you guys don't think that's funny, just ignore, we're just gonna move on. Anyways, the point of this video is me going for the platinum of Borderlands. So let's look at the trophy list real quick. Now there's 51 trophies here counting the platinum, and I don't want to knock on wood here, but this list doesn't look that bad. I mean, for the most part, it looks like it's just me playing through the game and doing everything there is to do. Which, I mean, that seems pretty self-explanatory, but you know what I mean. It doesn't seem bad. Before I say too much, though, let's start the game. But first, I have to do something very important. Just gotta make sure my y-axis is inverted and I'm ready to go. Now, the first thing I have to do when starting a new game is choose my character, and there's 4 of these characters, and they do play slightly differently if you didn't know, and there's actually 4 trophies tied to each one, but I'll worry about that later.
Okay, who am I gonna pick? Who am I gonna pick? This is the most stressful part of the video. I know some of you guys are freaking out right now. Who's Taste Val gonna pick? I think I might pick Hunter. Yeah, I might pick Hunter. I like snipers.
And just like that, I'm thrown right into the game. Now, I remember playing this game at launch back in 2009, which is, wow, that's kind of, I don't like thinking about that. But I do really remember liking it. I mainly liked it for the co-op though, which if you don't know, you can play this game up to 4 players. But unfortunately, I'm going to be doing this platinum by myself, which I just got my first trophy, which was for defeating an enemy by jumping on them. Then, not even 5 minutes later, I get another trophy for turning in 5 missions. Now, the way this game works is you pick up a mission, then once you complete it, you go all the way back and you turn it in to the person that gave it to you. Now, if that doesn't make sense, it will. You guys will pick up on it, trust me. But before long, I got to my next trophy, which was for discovering the Skag Goalie, which, judging by the trophy list, there's a lot of discovery trophies, which is just for getting to a new area. So unless I'm trying to milk the runtime of this video, then I probably won't be showing all of those. It just so happens, though, that Skag Goalie is where I did my first boss fight, which wasn't too challenging. Unfortunately, I still went down here, and I had to do my first fight for your life, which happens each time you get killed, and lets you get revived if you kill any enemy in the area. And this also got me to level 5. Which allows me to get my character's skill move.
Okay, I'm gonna try out a skill move. I don't remember what it is. Oh, it's like a little birdie. Bet I barely could see it because it's so dark.
Now, there's a trophy for me killing 15 enemies using that bird, but I might save that for later. For now, I'm going for the trophy Pyro, which requires me to kill 25 enemies with fire guns. Which actually brings up a very interesting aspect of Borderlands, which are the guns. You see, this is a looter shooter, which I'm going to delve deeper into later on as I actually progress through the game, but for now, just know I'm going to be picking up a lot of guns as I play. And I'll have nobody to trade those guns with because no one will play with me, but that doesn't matter because I'm about to get a trophy. And that's the trophy for having my bird kill 15 enemies. See? Told you guys it wouldn't be too much later. Now, after getting some more miscellaneous trophies and doing some more missions, I got access to the vehicles, which these things don't control the best, I'll be honest, but they're fun. Like, look at it, I can just run over anyone I see. That's fun. I like when games are fun. And you can quote me on that. And this actually ended up giving me a trophy, which is awesome. In fact, it's starting to feel like almost everything I do gets me a trophy. Because my next trophy is for killing 5 of these little bird things, which I didn't even know was a trophy. I'm just doing it. I'm just killing all these things, and I get one. It's like I'm unstoppable already. But as much as I hate to say it, I'm about to get humbled pretty hard. Because unfortunately, while playing through the main story, I ran into this guy. You see, this guy has a nasty name. I'm not going to say it out loud. Because I personally condemn cursing. Now, violence and gore in video games, sure thing, you can have all that, but cursing, you know, you gotta draw a line somewhere. But the point is, this guy was 4 levels ahead of me, with me being a level 12 and him a level 16, which in this game basically means he's near indestructible to me and he can kill me in one shot. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go and do some side missions to level up. Which isn't actually that big of a deal because there's actually 2 trophies dedicated to doing all the side missions in the game. So I'm going to have to do them sooner or later, so I might as well start now. But while doing them, I'm going to also get the multiplayer trophies, which luckily I can do in split screen. Now, to my surprise, all these multiplayer trophies were very easy. In fact, I didn't even have to have anyone do anything. All I had to do was turn on 2 other controllers and get the trophies. In fact, the hardest one was just for completing 15 missions with 2 players. And I know what you're all asking. Taste of Al, after doing that many side missions and that many trophies, how many levels did you go up? And the answer is 2. I leveled up 2 times. Now, I was personally hoping for a couple more levels, but it's okay because I was able to go back to the guy that kept killing me and I was able to kill him easily. For some reason, now he was only a level 15, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I understand how the enemy scaling works in this game, but I like it. It makes me happy to make progress in a game, what can I say? But a little after that, I got a trophy for selling 50 weapons. And then out of the blue, this started happening. That's right, textures just stopped loading in. I mean, technically something loaded in because there's something there, but they're not loading in the correct resolution, and that's kind of a problem. I mean, does it affect my gameplay? No, but it's pretty distracting, so I hope it stops. I hope this isn't something that continues. But for now, I just restarted my PS5 and I continued on until I made it to the next big area, which actually got me to my next boss fight. Which, as it turns out, I actually get a trophy for doing the boss fight in co-op, so I plugged in a second controller and did it. Now, after finishing that boss fight, I cleared up some side missions, and it turns out I did the last side mission of this area. Which came as a surprise because I was expecting a couple more side missions here, but that means I get to move on to the next big area, which is kind of where the real game begins. I mean, there's no kinda about it. You see, despite me having over half the trophies, I'm still just in the tutorial area. Which is one thing I remember from playing this game all those years ago, is how shocked I was at how much bigger this game becomes. Areas just become much larger and more open, and I like that. But I'll tell you guys what I don't like. And I know some of you guys are like, oh my goodness, Taste of Al is about to make fun of my favorite game ever. And no, I'm not. This is constructive criticism that I hope they bring over to the sequels. And they've already made quite a few sequels. In fact, they've made a couple spin-offs too. I mean, they're even making a movie that's coming out this year. Now, I'm not going to say if it looks good or bad, but I definitely won't be saying it looks good. But the point I'm trying to make is Borderlands has become a pretty big series, to the point where I think even Borderlands 2 fixes almost 90% of the complaints I'm going to talk about. Which I haven't played Borderlands 2 in a long time and I've never even finished the game. So please feel free to leave a comment down below if I'm right or wrong. But really, I only have 2 complaints here. Those being the story and the side missions. Which I'm going to discuss the side missions first. You see, they're not necessarily bad, but they're also not great. That's only because they're very repetitive, and they all lack very little substance. Most of them boil down to you going somewhere to kill an enemy, or if you're not killing something, you're going there to pick something up. Sometimes multiple things up. Now, this repetition is actually fine, because the gameplay is actually fun. That's the thing, I'm actually having fun playing the game. Now, is there room to add some more variety here? Sure. But my actual complaint here is that there's no one talking to you. All you get is a little wall of text that explains what the side mission is before you accept it. I just feel like they would be greatly improved if they all had unique voice acting throughout them. Like when you pick up mission up, if they talked about it for a second or throughout it, I just feel like it would help each of these missions feel more unique from one another. Now on to my story complaint. Which, listen, this isn't a big deal, because I'm not expecting this kind of game to have a story like Metal Gear Solid, for example. However, I feel like this game would be greatly improved with an overarching villain. Now granted, the credits haven't rolled yet, I'm not done with the main story, but maybe some big bad guy will show up before then, but I honestly doubt it. I have to stress it though that none of these complaints ruin the game for me. Remember how earlier in the video I said this was a looter shooter? What that means is you're constantly finding loot, which in most cases are new guns, with every single one being different from one another. Now sometimes that can just be different stats, but other times it can mean it's a completely different gun. Like for example, in the background now you're seeing me shoot a firework gun or something, I don't even know what's going on. And that mystery of not knowing what my next gun will be is what keeps me playing the game, and why I'm really enjoying getting this platinum so far, because the moment-to-moment gameplay is just fun. And speaking of the platinum, while I was going on that little rant there, I made some progress in the game, getting me some more trophies. With my next trophy for killing this big rack hive, which is pretty gross looking, I don't really like it. Luckily though, it posed no threat to me because I'm so good at the game. Okay, maybe he did kill me once, but I let him. But for my revenge, I decided to 360 no-scope him, which looks pretty cool if I do say so myself. Then not even 30 minutes later, I was on to the second to last boss fight of the game. And because I was 2 levels ahead of him, he's pretty easy, I'm not gonna lie, I took him out pretty fast. But by doing so, I got another trophy. And with him taken out, I'm ready to get to the last stretch of the game. Now listen up, ladies and gentlemen. At this point in the video, you can probably guess what I'm about to say. In fact, this shouldn't even be a surprise at this point, because discovering this final area got me yet another trophy. And I believe that's the final discovery trophy. Now I actually just got the trophy for completing every side mission in this area, but for some reason it didn't record, so just take my word for it, please. And in total, I think there were about 60 of these side missions, in both areas, maybe 80, I'm not quite sure. But with this playthrough coming to an end, I decided to do one of the few miscellaneous trophies. And this just requires me to race around this little raceway in under 30 seconds. I was a little worried about this one, but it turned out to be incredibly easy. I even got it on my first try. And with that little trophy out of the way, I decided to get myself back on the right track and I started fighting my way to the final boss arena. Which I'm hoping it's a little challenging. I want a boss that really tests my skills. And trust me, I have skills. Luckily I don't have to wait to find out though because I made it. Which it turns out this thing's just a big octopus. And I don't care how many legs it has, that's what it is.
I'm gonna take it, I aim in the big eye.
Yeah, as it turns out, all this boss fight is shoot the weak points. And it's not even a challenging weak point, it's the big eye and then sometimes the tentacles. Like, this is kinda lame. Now luckily it's not super lame or we'd have a huge problem here. Because as is, this is just disappointing. I just wish it wasn't stationary at the very least. Like, let this thing flop around. Or something, I don't know, but I'm about to finish the fight.
It's like it's only gonna be one more shot. Oh, nice. Nice, okay. That was arguably the easiest boss.
After defeating the boss, the credits rolled, you know, it was a big ordeal, but you don't need to see that. What you need to see is all this fancy loot I got. And this will greatly help me in my second playthrough. And yeah, that's right, I said a second playthrough. That's because I still need to get my character to level 50, which is completely insulting that that's only a bronze trophy. Just saying. They could have at least made it a silver. But for now, I'm gonna get the 3 character-specific trophies out of the way. Now, I mentioned these earlier, but basically what I need to do is I need to start 3 new playthroughs with the characters I haven't played as yet. I then have to get them to level 5 and use their skill move X number of times. Luckily though, this is not nearly as bad as it might sound, because you level up insanely fast for the first 5 levels. So I was able to pop these trophies very quickly and very easily.
Nice. Now it's time to grind to level 50. I don't want to do it.
Now don't be fooled by that last clip, because I know it makes me sound like I'm very excited to grind for level 50. But please trust me when I say I'm not at all excited. Mostly because it's the only trophy I need for platinum. And judging by my experience so far, this is going to be quite the grind.
Man, I'm leveling up way slower than I expected.
Yeah, you might notice I've only gone up 1 level since starting this playthrough, and I've been playing for a little over an hour. Which to me, that means that either leveling up is just way slower than I thought it was, or I'm being an idiot and completely missing something very important. But no matter what the answer is, I'm just gonna continue grinding through the story because it's working so far, it's just slow. In fact, I'm just about to get to level 40. I think by turning in this quest, it'll tick over. Okay, at this point, I think we all realize this is going to take a little bit of time to get to level 50. Along with this video becoming quickly repetitive by me just showing clips of this second playthrough, seeing as nothing important is actually happening. Or at least interesting, I should say. So with that all being said, I'm quite thirsty, which makes me feel like it's okay for me to segue into a new segment for this channel. So without any more delay, I introduce you to drinking with Taste of Al. Now listen, I'm a big pop guy. Soft drinks, soda, whatever you want to call it, I like it. However, there's only one on the market that reigns superior to the others. And that, my friends, is Dr. Pepper. No others can dethrone the king. The one with the PhD reigns supreme. Because it doesn't even matter the flavor. Strawberries and cream, creamy coconut, cream soda, even fantastic chocolate. They're all bangers. But for the sake of this video, I'm gonna go with the original. And let me put you all on something here, because I'm gonna grab my bottle of Coffee Mate's Dirty Soda, which is coconut and lime flavored. Now, does that sound absolutely disgusting? Of course it does. But trust me when I say it's amazing. But now I'm gonna grab a cup and get my ingredients together. With that done, I'm gonna crack open the Dr. Pepper. And now it's time to pour it in. But please take a second to appreciate how high I have to be pouring it to get this shot. But now that you're done appreciating it, it's time to pour in the dirty soda, which I'm just gonna eyeball how much to put in. And the final step is to just stir it up and enjoy. But hey, let's get back to the trophy hunting. Please note I am no longer thirsty. But would you look at that, in the time it took me to make that drink, I made it to level 49. What are the odds of that happening? And to answer that question, it's 0%. 0. I'm sorry for misleading you guys, and I'll try my absolute hardest to avoid doing it again in the future. But for now, let's get that platinum.
Oh, nice.
And just like that, the platinum's mine. Now listen, I know I just got the platinum, but I want to start off by saying I really wish I would have played with people here. Even just one other. And as of right now, I won't make any promises that I'll go on to do any of the sequels here. But If I do, you better believe I'm going to have a friend along the way, because there's no way I'm going through it single player again. And that's not saying I didn't have fun here playing by myself, because sometimes it's fun to play with yourself. But Borderlands is meant to be a multiplayer experience, and it's more fun that way. But let me rate it real quick. Like usual, I'll start with difficulty, which this game isn't necessarily difficult. Even by yourself, it's not that hard. I didn't have that many issues. It's a very straightforward list, which actually made this video very difficult to make if you couldn't tell. Because it's such an easy list, I just had trouble figuring out which trophies to focus on, which I haven't on previous videos so far. And the grind to level 50 is just not enjoyable to watch. And is also why you got Drinking with Taste of Owl. And I hope at least one of you guys enjoyed that segment, because that's the first and last time it's ever happening. But in the end, I would give this Platinum a 3 out of 10. It's just not very challenging, and I feel like anyone can go out and do it. Which I actually encourage you guys to do it, it's a fun one. Now for game rating, I would give this an 8 out of 10. I feel like that's a fair score for me. Now if someone would slip me a few bucks, maybe it would go up a little bit. No, but seriously, I know the sequels improve on almost every aspect of this game's formula. And if that's the case, then Borderlands 2 will either be a 9 or a 10, I guess we'll see someday. But for now, feel free to leave me suggestions on what games to do next, but know that Dr. Doctor is still the priority for September. At this rate though, I feel like I can fit in at least 2 or 3 other videos before then. But until then, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again next time.